As it stands right now, we are less than 48 hours away from the release of Rockstar's new GTA Online San Andreas Mercenaries DLC update, and this update is bringing several new missions, DLC vehicles, a plethora of different quality of life changes, including world balancing, vehicle tuning, gameplay changes and updates, premium in-game features, and more. And this is about the time when the community loves to come together and speculate on how much this DLC will cost and how much in-game money that players will need if they want to purchase and acquire everything this DLC update has to offer on day one. But today I want to take that idea a step further. Sure, we'll briefly touch on my predictions for the necessary costs and total cost of this DLC, but I also just want to talk generally here with you and discuss what players should really do before the San Andreas Mercenaries update releases. While saving your money before a DLC release is of great importance, and I highly recommend you do that, if you haven't played the game in a while or you're not caught up on all the news, there's actually a few purchases that I do think players should make beforehand, and a few other things that players should make sure they do, and just also some other tips on how to maximize the final 2 days before the new DLC update drops. So with all that said, let's get started. Starting off with number 1, I do recommend that you purchase an Avenger, because the Avenger is getting some major updates coming on Tuesday. We have different tunings and changes with the Mercenaries update, and while you could potentially wait to see if this vehicle does go on sale when this DLC releases, I just don't think that's likely for the first couple weeks, because this vehicle is getting a lot of new weapons and stuff like that, and that just adds more overall value to owning this vehicle. And Rockstar did state that the Avenger was going to be a core piece of this update, meaning the Avenger may even get a price change, and if it is going to get a price change, I think it's going to get a price increase on day 1 of this update. And if that is the case, I advise you to purchase the Avenger now, because Rockstar states, with Charlie's help, the Mammoth Avenger will become an enhanced aerial command center equipped with a new operations terminal and weapons system upgrades. Plus, you'll embark upon new adventures running valuable contraband on the ground, as well as come across spontaneous opportunities to liberate cash and commodities from lucrative roving targets. Now, here's some other reasons why the Avenger is worth owning, even if you aren't that interested in this DLC. You get good performance because the Avenger performs similarly to most medium-sized planes or helicopters. It can reach decent speeds, but the handling is somewhat sluggish here with a slow climb rate. But overall, you have different flight modes. You get the VTOL mode and normal flight modes, and transitions can be conducted very easily with this aircraft. You get the autopilot feature, which allows you to leave the cockpit mid-air and access the hold, or even leave the aircraft entirely if you so choose. You have good defense because the Avenger has robust armor, and it can withstand considerable damage here. However, the durability is reduced compared to the MOC, for example, due to it being an airplane and not necessarily a truck. But you can also outfit this vehicle with various countermeasures to improve its defense against homing missiles. You get a lot of weaponry. You get the heavy firepower against ground targets with the different types of bombs like explosives, incendiaries, gas, and clusters. And then of course you get the turret. But moving on to number 2, I highly recommend you purchase the Hangar as well, because the Hangar is getting some new updates with the Mercenaries DLC that we're going to get into shortly. But for right now, Hangars are 20% off until early Tuesday morning, and so they are absolutely worth buying right now. Overall, the Hangars just serve as a hub for your smuggling business through the free trade shipping co as it stands right now, but they can also be used to simply store and modify your aircraft. For example, if you purchase a hangar at Fort Zancudo, that'll grant you low-level access clearance to that military base, and that clearance prevents you from incurring a wanted level when entering the base. It's also extended to all members of your organization or your MC. Also, in addition to that, you get a couple of other things here. Ownership of a hangar adds an option to the interaction menu, allowing you to call your personal aircraft from your hangar. However, these deliveries aren't necessarily instantaneous, and they are subject to a delivery cooldown. Now lastly, the personal aircraft in this hangar are automatically insured, and if destroyed, they can be claimed back from Moore's Mutual Insurance for a $1,000 deductible. Now Rockstar did say the following about the new updates coming to your purchase hangar. Both new and experienced smugglers will also benefit from a range of upgrades for the Avenger and hangar owners, including the ability to store and customize your Avenger from your hangar, or even store and access your Avenger without owning a hangar or facility property at all. So get ready now, gear up your team, prep your hangar facility, set up your Avenger, and sharpen your smuggler skill for the battle that lays ahead. Now, while I think it is possible that we will meet our new DLC point of contact, Charlie Reed, who conveniently enough is also our hangar mechanic, somewhere on the map to begin the new missions coming out with this DLC, I do think that that excerpt from Rockstar's Newswire proves that we're going to need to own the hangar to get prepped if we want to enjoy the new DLC missions on day one. Now, before we get into the following points here, just to wrap up this video, I did want to discuss very quickly, I'm sure money may be tight for a lot of you, so as we move forward, these aren't 100% necessary, they're just recommendations here. This DLC is likely to cost players about $5 million day one just for getting some of the cool vehicles that release, and about 15 to 20 million if you want everything day one, and then if you want absolutely everything 100% included with the DLC as a whole, including all the drip feed purchases for cars, weapons, clothing, and more, expect to pay upwards of 30 to 50 million just to be safe. Most people just want to buy a few things, so don't take what I say here as gospel, but as we move forward, just keep those price figures in mind. Don't overspend right before this update. Of course, I certainly don't encourage that. This video is really just for players with a surplus amount of cash on hand and for players who just want to make sure that they have all their bases covered before Tuesday comes around. Now, number 3, I do recommend you get some armored vehicles like the HVY Night Shark, the Omnis EGT, the Ocelot Virtue, basically just any armored vehicle, because those will provide substantial protection against enemy gunfire and explosives, and those are crucial in high-risk missions where you face a lot of enemy fire. Armored vehicles can also just take a lot more damage than regular vehicles before being destroyed, so those will give you an edge during the intense chases and fights that you're going to encounter. You get good firepower, survivability, and also mission versatility with those armored vehicles as well. I do recommend purchase some powerful aircraft in this game. My recommendations, if you want some good planes to store in your hangar, check out the Hydra, the Bessra, the P996 Laser, the Buckingham Pyro, of course the Mammoth Avenger like we discussed, the Buckingham Alpha Z1, and even the Western Company Rogue. Also, definitely make sure to sell all your business stock, for example, like the nightclub, the acid lab, and the bunker. I wouldn't sell your crate warehouses and things like that because you want to wait for those to go on bonus, but definitely sell the nightclub, your acid lab, and your bunker if possible. And also, if you're looking to make some extra money fast, you can do so with the following methods. Of course, Cayo Perico is always going to be your #1 method. The Dr. Dre contract is also really good. Check out some payphone hits, do some acid lab sales, collect the G's caches, hit the stash houses, do some bunker deliveries, export your mixed goods, do some auto shop client deliveries, do your MC Clubhouse bike delivery, and also collect money from your safes at the agency, the nightclub, and the arcade. And so with all that said, that's everything that players should consider doing before the new GTA Online San Andreas Mercenaries DLC update releases. I think if you make sure to acquire those properties and the vehicles that I mentioned and keep all the other tips and tricks in mind, you will surely be good to go for everything that awaits you with this Mercenaries update. And so with all that said, hopefully you all enjoyed the video today, and if you did, hopefully I earned your like on it. And of course, if you are new to my channel and you want to stay up to date with all the best GTA Online and Rockstar Games content, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single thing we post here on the channel. We consistently talk about updates, news, information, tips, tricks, and even leaks, and we'll keep you guys updated here on the channel daily, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you want to follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube, and you're more than welcome to ask me any questions on those platforms. You can follow me at HazardousHDTV, and all of my social media links can be found in the description down below. With all that being said, thank you all so much for watching, everyone. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next GTA Online video. Adios, amigos.